Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins, and I'm a social connections coach for the late diagnosed autistic adult. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about friends. Well, who are they? What do they do? How do they show up in our life? Specifically, real friends versus fake friends. I know it's difficult to really tell the difference between the two because being autistic, you may fall in love with some people who may not like you as much. So we're going to talk about what that looks like and who is a real friend. Are you ready? Let's go. When I was little, I just had this complex where I liked people, but I was afraid that they didn't like me. And if you're new to this podcast, then you haven't heard these stories. But if you've been here a long time, you'd know that I just really wish I could fit in. I wanted to have people like me. I did the things that I thought people would like me for. So I did them even to my detriment. So people pleasing and those things. And, that's basically how it turned out. It was just pretty exhausting. And I struggled with this a lot because I didn't know how to create friendships. I didn't know what people were supposed to do in friendships. And being curious, I'd think to ask, I'd think to ask, well, how do you make friends? Or how do you do this? Or how do you do that? And I can tell you, this is something that I did when I was a kid, when I was young, like 10, 11, 12, but it persisted into how do you build relationships with people in my 20s and my 30s? How do you do that? How do you make friends? What? And I was always met with the same kind of thing. And, I'd continue to ask because I thought, well, they're different people. I'm in different spaces now. A different space, if you're, 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, you're in school and you're asking your adults around you, how do you make friends? It's different when you're, than when you've grown up a bit and you've maybe graduated and gone to college, or you're in a work environment, or maybe you're even in the army or the military like I was, asking these questions like, how do you develop relationships with people? But I veered a little bit away from the topic. Listen, it's all about me not understanding how to make friendships and looking at those people, believing that those people who were talking to others, who did have friendship groups, who did seem to have people around them that liked them, that were interested in them, how can I get that? Basically, I just didn't understand how could I get that. And because it's not beyond me to be curious, I ask. And if you've done this too, then you might have been met with the same kind of feelings that I've been met with shame and dismissal. Like, you don't know how to do that? What's wrong with you? You don't know? No, I don't know. Can you explain it to me? Like, that autism piece will come out. Can you just explain it to me? Can you just tell me? Will you just talk to them? Can you give me a little bit more direction? What do I say? How do I talk to him? When do I talk to him? What do I talk to them about? And I'd look like an alien or a robot to others because I was thinking of these questions. I wanted to ask these questions. I wanted to get answers to these questions. And in every single phase, whether I was, 7 or 8, or whether I was in high school, or whether I was in the army, or whether I was in a job, they would just think, well, what's wrong with you? We just naturally do that. There are no steps. There's no explanation for it. There's no explanation. That was exhausting. It is exhausting to go through that and to know that. So what I know from those kinds of experiences is that people who don't know how to do it or can't explain it, because some people just don't have the ability to explain. They don't have the capacity to explain to a level or depth to give you the kind of description or explanation that you need, just because the communication styles are different. So I chalk it up to that, and I move on from that. So what I'm saying to you is that a lot of people aren't going to be able to tell you just how to make friends. This is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, in a manner that is going to be satisfactory for you, because you may have questions about little nuances. What's the tone of your voice, when the pitch is, what do you talk about, when do you talk about them? They can't give you that exact clarity, and it's too difficult for them to break it down, right? So if you go out there and you ask, how do I make friends? You're likely to be met with, I don't know, or a bunch of shame. How come you don't know this? And I think it's simply because they don't know how to explain it to you themselves. You can't. There's too much detail. There's too much nuance to talk about. Well, with that said, I've come up with the shortest possible way to figure out who are your friends and who aren't your friends. Because sometimes we get so enthralled and have such a desire to be connected with others that we'll throw ourselves out there and we'll do things that are to our detriment so that we can be connected, or we can say that we have friends or people to hang out with or people to talk to, even though we really don't like them and they may really not like us, right? Because there's some nuance in between. And if you are a particularly literal person who takes people at their word, you hear what they say and like, we're friends. And you'll just like, well, I don't know what a definition of a friend is, so I guess we are, because they do all the things I think friends do. I mean, sometimes they call me, maybe they're really busy, but when I reach out to them, sometimes they respond. I mean, I can't expect them to always respond to me because they're an adult and I'm an adult and they've got a life and they're busy. But I guess that's what a friend is. I guess that's what they do. And so you have this really gray area of what is a friend? What is it? Who, how? Because no one's explained it to you, and you kind of go by what you guess, right? Sort of, kind of. Nobody sat down and said exactly what it is, exactly what the behaviors are, exactly what you can expect from them, exactly how you can expect them to show up for you. It's exhausting, right? Because you don't have that information. You do the best you can to fill it in. And if you're looking around at other people who have friends, you don't really know what's going on in the inside of their relationship. So you think, I guess if they're not texting me back as much, if they're not calling me back as much, but they still say I'm their friend, then we're friends. And what I want to do here today, the shortest possible way to identify what a friend is really based on you and your own self-expression, your own feelings about what you need, want, and desire from other people. So the title of this episode is called Fake Friends, where real friends talk to you, fake friends talk about you, right? And it's called that because it's really focused on you, your needs, your wants, and desires. It's not really focused on what other people want and how other people are going to show up. And I say that real friends are people who will talk to you about things that are important and interesting and exciting to you, and they will return that excitement to you. They won't dismiss you. They won't be bored all the time. I mean, I don't know, they can't be excited about everything you talk about, but the things that are important, interesting, and exciting to you, they have that interest. They have that level of interest. They'll talk to you about the flaws that you have as well. They'll talk to you about things that you don't do well. They'll talk to you about things that upset them. They'll listen to you when you are upset about life, about your experiences, about work. Maybe you didn't get a high score on a video game. Maybe you lost some money. Maybe you got into an argument with someone at work today or something like that. They will listen to you. So your friends will talk to you. The fake friends are the ones who will talk about you. They won't say anything about the fact that you might have food in your teeth, or they won't say anything about your shoe being untied, or they won't say anything about the exciting, fun things that are happening in your life. They won't express joy with you. They will talk about you to someone else. And you can notice this gap. You can notice this gap when you try and reach out to them, when you try to talk to them. If it feels like they're not interested in having a conversation, if you feel like you're always carrying the conversation, I just want you to be aware of this. That's not how my friends, definition of my friends, treat me. They wouldn't, at the very least, they wouldn't drag it on. They wouldn't continue to have me try and ask them questions and give me one-word answers or barely any answer. They wouldn't leave me on red. They would say to me, look, I've got something on my mind. I can't really talk to you right now. Let's talk later. That's talking to me. That's expressing what they're really thinking and feeling to me. And so you have to be aware of the fact that they are talking to you, and you got to watch their behavior and see if they follow up with that behavior. If they say they're going to talk to you later and they don't talk to you later, hey, is that how you want to be treated as a friend? I said before, it's your definition of friendship. How do you want to be treated? I personally like my friends to talk to me about things, even if it's unpleasant, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's disappointing. I especially want them to talk to me if there's something that's joyful and fun and exciting that's happening in their lives and in my life. Those are friends. If you find that people that you call friend are not talking to you, they're not sharing much with you. Sure, they're busy, okay? Get your empathetic side out of there. It's not about your empathy or trying to see to their point. It's about you and your feelings, right? You're a reasonable person. You know that they're busy, but people make time for things that are important to them. And if you're not important to them, they're not making time for you. So your friend will make time for you. Your friend will make time to talk to you, because if they're not talking to you, I can almost guarantee you that they're talking about you to somebody else. They're talking about you. Real friends talk to you. Fake friends talk about you. Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. I want to thank you so much for all of your positive feedback for the Supportive Connections course. The outpouring is just ridiculous. If you haven't heard about this, I dropped it a couple of months ago on my website, patternsofpossibility.com. Just click resources to get instant access to the free Supportive Connections course. You're going to learn exactly what you need to create healthy, supportive relationships. Because a lot of us, if you grew up in a household which you didn't see healthy connections, you were trying to figure it out all by yourself, you might not know what it looks like to be in a healthy relationship. This is for you if you find it difficult to communicate your own needs, or you feel like you always have unmet expectations in your relationships. If you struggle to recognize toxic behaviors, or you keep tolerating disrespect, manipulation, or control, this is for you. And it's free. Go to patternsofpossibility.com, click on resources, and get instant access to this free Supportive Connections course today. Now let's do the listener letters. If you have a question about your family, friends, business, coworkers, anything that goes on with your relationships, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. Okay, so this one says, I don't want to be friends with other autistic people. I want more than just surface level friendships, and I feel like all my friendships with other autistic people are so focused on them only. I'm always the one initiating contact. If I don't message them, they don't message me or ask how I am. It's like all my autistic friends just forget my existence. Now, I know not all neurotypical friendships are perfect, obviously, but I wish I was neurotypical and had close neurotypical friends who valued me. I want to be like them, loved and cared for. I know neurodivergence doesn't make someone a bad friend, but I just wish more autistic people put energy into friendships. I also wanted to say that I tend to gravitate towards other autistic people. I don't know. I feel too autistic to be friends with neurotypicals, and too neurotypical to be friends with neurodivergence. Wow. Well, I think it's really great that you brought this up about uh, categorizing people. And I try really hard. It's really, let me say this, it's really nice to put labels on things and bottle them up or can them aside, and it's perfect. It's like I have somebody who's autistic, and I'm going to put all these little attributes and behaviors to them, and then that's what they are. Like the people that you've run into, the autistic people that you've run into are focused on only them. They're surface level friendships, and they don't initiate contact, and you bottle that up, and that's autism. That's the autistic friends that you've run into. That is, and then anything else might not be that label. So it's really nice to be able to do that. It feels like the world makes sense when we do things like that. We label things. And I just want to say that obviously you're aware of this. You who wrote this, aware of it. It doesn't always fit. Doesn't always quite fit that way. Because, neurotypical people are also selfish, and they could only care about themselves. They might only initiate contact. You might only initiate contact with them as well. It's not just neurotypical. It's not just autistic or neurodivergent who, you just can't label those two groups and say everybody under this group is going to do this, everybody under that group is going to do this. There are specific skills that each person learns. And if we zoom in and we learn about those skills, the behaviors, the social skills in particular, because autistic people are capable of learning social skills. From wherever you are on the spectrum, it's different for you. So I can't speak for everyone, right? And I want to label everyone, but people in general are able to learn social skills. And I'm one of those people who has learned social skills, and I teach people social skills like this, so I know it's possible. With that being said, finding neurotypical friendships isn't going to solve your problem. It's something that's happening with you. You say that you feel too autistic to be friends with neurotypicals and too neurotypical to be friends with neurodivergents. There's something with you. There's something with you and being accepted in these spaces. And I see this quite often, where we're not sure if we fit, and we try really hard to make ourselves fit in this space, even though it causes us pain and frustration and sadness. And we're too afraid to go to the other space where we might fit. Because we might get rejected. So we're terrified of that. So we're just kind of stuck. I'm not enough of one thing and I'm too much of another thing. And we get ourselves stuck in those situations, and we don't know who our friends are. Who can we be friends with? When you're stuck in this situation, when you find yourself in this situation where you can't move forward and you don't want to go back, it's time to do some reflection. It's the fork in the road. Are you going to go left? Are you going to go right? What are you going to do? Are you going to make your own path down the middle? What are you going to do? When you reach this point and you don't know who your friends could possibly be, this is what I tell my clients to do, is to figure out what you want from their friends, what you want from people. It's just really that simple, even though it's hard. It's not easy. It's simple. Just figure out what you want from other people, how you want other people to treat you, and how do you want them to behave. Because here in this list, you clearly have what you don't want from them. I don't want to be the one who is focused on me. I don't want to be the one who's always initiating contact. I want them to message me sometimes. There's actions that you want them to do. Those are what your friends do. Those are what people you call friends do. If they're not doing that, whether they're autistic or neurotypical, neurodivergent, whatever, they can't be your friend. It is simple. It is simple. It is simple in that way, but it's not easy to do, because if you spend a lot of time, you're late diagnosed autistic adult, you spend a lot of time masking, you have no idea what you want. When you first take that mask off, you have no idea what you really want from other people because you didn't really get an opportunity to know it for yourself. You were too busy trying to play the part to fit in so that you could survive. And congratulations, you made it. Now it's time to take that mask off and you're like, oh, hey, wait, I don't know what I'm supposed to want. It's not even what you're supposed to want. It's what you want. You don't even know that. It takes time. So when you reach that point in the road where you're like, I don't fit in here anymore because I take that mask off. I don't think I fit here because my mask is off. I don't even know who that person is underneath. Did I go this way or what? When you reach that fork in the road, it's time for you to do some self-reflection. It's time for you to think about your life experiences and what you want going forward. This will help you not say things like, I don't want to be friends with other autistic people. You want to say something like, I want to be friends with people who care about me and my well-being, whether or not they're neurodivergent or autistic, or whether they're neurotypical or neurodivergent. It doesn't matter. What do people do that demonstrate that they care for you? Be around those people. And finally, I appreciate you being a listener. If you got something of value out of this podcast, please share it with other people and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening app. We'll see you next time. Take care.